Burn your idols.
He who the sun sets free is free. He who the sun sets free is free.
Hallelujah.
He who the sun sets free is free. He who the sun sets free is free.
These are the times when I feel like you are not around. The moment I throw out many questions and not a sound. I look up but I don't see no blessing hit the ground. However, like Peter, you saved me right before I drowned. For years I've known there to be snakes in this place. I see the disbelief under carefully crafted speech. There's a breach, disconnecting from the heresy of Catholic priests. Pagan ideologies the Pharisees do love to teach. Lord, I got my times I wish you would've did things different. Found out those times that I ain't have no business wishing.
Barak, Yahweh, Shalom, Shalom, planet Earth. Welcome back to TRU-TALK. As we always do, we just talk truth. Let's get into it. Why do bad things happen to good people? Now that's one of the hardest questions, or it can be one of the easiest questions. Depends on what level you on in this world. And level, I mean by spirituality, by wisdom, by age, by experience. And this question has been asked by many, if not by all. I know I have myself asked this question. Why does bad things happen to good people? And it's a legit question to ask, especially when you thinking with logic. You know, in this world, whether you in the Buddhist and they call it karma, or you in religion, they call it reaping what you sow. We all got this structure, this programming built up of understanding that certain things happen to certain people because the certain way they live. You know, if a person play with snakes 24/7, when they get bit by a snake, it's not too much surprising. It's almost suspected. It's just like a matter of time when it's gonna happen. So when it do happen, it's sad, and nobody is happy when something bad happens to somebody. But we can say we seen it coming, or they deserve it. You know, I told them to stop playing with them snakes. You know, when people are in a life full of crime and violence and death, you know, when death finally knocks at the door, they get hurt. It's not too much surprising. A lot of times you've been shocked because you never know when it's going to happen. A lot of times it's happened out the blue, but it's somewhat to be expected. They was living that type of life. But as we know, if you live this life long enough, a lot of times things don't add up like that. Sometimes it do. Sometimes this world make perfect sense. And other times it don't. Other times it seems like it's just spinning out of control and random things happen. And you got to ask yourself, this person was the most nicest person ever. Why did this have to happen to them? And then I see these wicked people and they continue being wicked and nothing happened to them yet. And it make you ask this question.
Coke.
Why do bad things happen to good people? Before I get back into this, I want to go to a scripture that may bring a little clarity to this, of what we're talking about today. This is Ecclesiastes 7:15, King James Version. And it says, all things have I seen in the days of my vanity. There is a just man that perished in his righteousness, and there is a wicked man that prolong his life in his wickedness. Now, this is the Holy Scripture, and it don't make sense because it says that he's seen a wicked man perish in his righteousness, and him being righteous and doing good, he lost his life for doing good, for being righteous. But at the same time, he said he's seen somebody wicked by doing wicked. They saved their life and their life continue to flourish. Now we can look at this in all types of ways. Well, bad people do bad things, or we're not gonna call them bad. We're just gonna say people do bad things, and they seems to get a good reward for it instead of a punishment. You know, it can be at your job. They'll lie on somebody or mistreat somebody, and they'll get promoted, but they earn that promotion by lying and doing wicked stuff. It's make you kind of want to do bad things, but you can get ahead. You know, me being a young Hebrew Negro, uh, coming from where I come from, it was hard not to get into criminal activities, especially dope, because everybody around you was poor. And the only people that had money, like money, was the dope boys. You know, you had people that, of course, in the hood that work they tail off every day, that go to work and come home and make ends meet, and they barely making it. But then you got the young cats on the corner, seem like they just chilling, having fun all day long. They're not out there breaking their back to bring home enough money to just get by. But they making a lot of money. And the women's want them because they got money and cars, and that life look appealing, but you know what they doing is wrong. You know they poison the community. You know the only reason why there's crime in the community because people are hooked on drugs, and these people that are hooked on drugs are breaking and stealing from the community. And then once they get high and drunk, fights and killing break out. And not to mention that the gunfights that the dope boys have. So you know it's the dangerous life to live, and you know that they going to jail eventually or going to die. But for the most part, it looks like they getting rewarded for their evil deeds. And you know, as the scripture says, somebody that righteous can be doing the right thing and they can lose their life. You know, you can witness somebody standing up for somebody trying to break up a fight. I remember this was a case where a young man trying to break up a fight. He wasn't involved with the fight. He was trying to do the right thing and break up the fight. And he got shot and died. But tried to do the right thing. And of course, you know that saying on the street, if you want to survive, be the first to shoot. Don't hesitate. Don't wait. Just shoot. So a lot of people out here so-called surviving by just killing people. And they feel like if I didn't kill them, I'd get killed. But this whole world that we're living in, well, a lot of times we try to make sense of things. It just seems to don't add up. And even though, yeah, let's say a lot of times you say, they say that life, you live that life, you're gonna end up like let's for instance, for selling drugs. They say if you sell drugs, you're gonna end up either dead or locked up. And for the most part, that is true. But there are occasions where people sell drugs for years and never get caught. Seem like the only people that get caught is the little people that down at the bottom that's doing the nine and dipple, but the big people that bringing cocaine over the seas, that's really in bed with the government, selling dope is like a career. They can retire and never see a lick of time a day. So you ask yourself, these people that's struggling, that's not making the drugs, but only selling the drugs because it's hard for them to get a job, and the jobs that they get don't really provide, and they just want to provide for their family. But for this, they get locked up. But the people that's really making the drugs, the people that's really bringing in the drugs, they don't get a lick of time. So you realize we're in an unfair world, and that a lot of times people don't get what they deserve in this lifetime. Sometimes that person that be dealing with snakes every day of their life never get bit. But a person that stay away from snakes find themselves getting bit. And you got to stretch your head and say, wait a minute, this person every day is around snakes, picking up snakes, throwing snakes, but he didn't get big. And this person that hates snakes and try their best to stay away from snakes, somehow a snake crawl in their bed and bite them. And you left with that question, why? If there's a greater power, if there's a creator that sees all and he's righteous and just, why would he allow for bad things to happen to good people? And I want to share the answer that the Most High gave me. Because like I said, I asked this question too. And he didn't give me this answer right away. It took years of praying and meditating. And finally, it came to me. And this is the understanding he gave me. And hopefully, it will bring you some peace in this world that seemed chaotic. When people seem to get ahead. And it seems like that nothing bad happens to them, even though they wicked, even though they're doing bad things. But people that's trying to live a good life, is trying to do good, that bad things happen to them. And the first understanding that the Most High gave me was, why do bad things happen? Because we know bad things happen to good people. And the question is why? But first we got to answer the first part. Why does bad things happen? Well, if you religion or not, if you religious or not, or believe in the Most High or not, It doesn't matter. Everybody agrees that there's good and bad. It's good to save life. It's bad to take life. But even in that, it's not so black and white. It's not so simple. Sometimes it's good to take life if that life is trying to take other people's life. If a person trying to kill you and your family, it's a good thing if you kill that person. But normally it's not a good thing for you to just go around killing people, right? It goes back to when you live long enough in this world, everything is not so simple. There's always a double tongue. There's always a different way, a different angle to look at it. But nevertheless, bad things happen because people do bad things. Now we know, let's just talk about the Ten Commandments. Whether you agree with them or not, or whether you believe in the Most High or not, most people agree that the Ten Commandments are good. Thou should not kill. Thou should not steal. Thou should not sleep with a man's wife. Most people acknowledge those things are good. When somebody don't do those things, don't follow by those commandments, and they steal and kill and sleep with people's wives, and these people that do it, a lot of times, they don't do it to bad people. They do it to good people or people that we consider good people. They do it to people that they feel like they can take advantage of, people they can get away with. Because one thing about it, if a lion has a chance to eat a lion or a sheep, he's gonna go after the sheep instead of a lion because he know that lion is gonna give him a fight. He knows that sheep is gonna be easy. So even the bad guys think with logic and say, I can either fight, do it the hard way, or I can do my bad thing and make it easy on me. And everybody, even if they're doing something good or bad, they want to do it the easy way. So bad people usually go after the people that they consider easy, that they consider that's not going to put up a fight. And those people are usually considered the good people, the people that's usually not running around looking to fight to harm anybody. So that's the first thing that the Most High showed me is because bad people, because people, we not want to call nobody good or bad. We're just going to say people do bad and good things because bad people do things to people that do good things or good people. Let me just put it this way. We're not going to call people bad, but we is going to call people good. Because people do bad things to good people because those people are doing bad things. And if they didn't do bad things, there would be no bad things happen. So me as a believer in the Most High, as the creator of all, I believe, and he showed me that if anybody would just follow my ways, well, if you believe with me or not, my ways are good, even the atheists agree with thou shalt not kill and murder, they agree that his ways are right and righteous. If everybody follow by my ways, then there would be no bad things happening because people would not do bad things. But because people do bad things happen to good people. And usually good people, because these bad people are picking the people that they feel like are easier. Now the question is, why does the Most High allow it? Why doesn't He intervene? Well, if He do that, would that be free will? If He intervene every time we about to do something wrong, somebody do something wrong, He intervene. Now the Father is saving life every day. We don't know how many lives the Father allowed to wake up every day. Of you listening to this, by the grace of the Most High, you could have died yesterday, but the Father allowed for you to live. But judgment have to take place, and He cannot judge nobody. He cannot judge the bad for doing nothing. Bad have to take place for Him to be able to judge the bad. That's like if I say I'm going to rob the bank, and I'm thinking about rob the bank, but I never robbed the bank, but they locked me up and said, "Oh, you was thinking about robbing the bank." I said, "Yeah, but I never robbed it. I could have changed my mind. I didn't actually commit the crime." They can only lock me up for robbing the bank after I actually robbed the bank. And then they can say, "We locked you up. Why? Because you robbed the bank. You committed this crime." The Father says, "I'm not going to punish nobody for nothing." He's a just Most High to the fact, well, He's not going to punish people if they didn't do nothing. But if you did do it, He will punish you. And He have to allow for them people to do it. And when it happened to good people, it's to let the world know, to let us know this is the consequences of when people disobey the Most High and they kill someone and rape someone. When the Most High said, "Thou shalt not kill," when the Most High said, "Thou shalt not rape," but these bad people go against the Most High. But these people do the bad things and go against the Most High and kill and rape somebody anyway. And it hurts us. And we say, "Father, why was it our people? Why did they rape me? Why did they rape my loved ones? Why was it my loved ones that they killed? Why couldn't it be some bad guy that they killed? Why it had to be these people that are doing good and not bad?" And He showed me this. He said, because we all gonna die. We all gonna pass away. Nobody have a choice of how they gonna leave. And if everybody just figured, "I'm gonna die at 90," and nobody considered that their life is may get cut off as 20, because we know people die at young age. No matter what age you are, people die. He's saying people will not live a life of one being appreciative and a two being righteous or living for Him, because people say, "I don't have to live for the Most High. We all gonna die when we get 80, so I'm gonna wait till about 87. Then after 3 years, the 3 last years of my life, I give it to the Most High." The Most High said, "No, give me your life now, because you never know when it may be taken by some bad person. You never know when something may happen and your life be taken. So we gotta live a righteous life, and we gotta live a life appreciating life and appreciating one another." And then a person that get raped, yes, that's a bad thing that happened to them. But we would never know rape was a bad thing if it never happened. Because we see the effects, what happened when somebody get raped, because we see how violent it is when somebody get killed, we know how evil it is. And we speak against it. But that rape victim, it says the Most High turn all things for good. That same pain that was caused on her, she can use that pain to help somebody and relate to somebody that was raped also. Because if nobody got raped and only, let's see, one person got raped out of the whole world, now that would be a good thing, that only one person got raped out of the whole world. But who would be able to relate with that one person that got raped? But let's just say 5 people got raped. Those 5 people can relate with one another and lift each other up. Not only that, but can teach others how can avoid getting raped. So there's wisdom in the wickedness that happened. That's why the scripture says, what the devil meant for bad, the Most High can turn around and make it good. But nevertheless, this question that seems so hard is easy. Really, it's easy to answer. It's easy to understand because the truth is nobody knows the Most High judgment. Nobody can truly get a grip on why things happen the way it does. But when you know that there's bad people that's not living according to the Most High will, and because they're not living according to the Most High will, that's why the world is evil. You can't be mad at the Most High. You got to be mad at the people that's not living according to the Most High will. And then if you know you can die anytime and that those bad things can happen to you, you will try to avoid certain people. And you would try to live a life righteous because, hey, it may not be a quote unquote bad person that take you out. It may just be a car wreck, an accident. And people lose their life and they ask why. Why did it have to be me? Well, who else was it supposed to be? If it wasn't them, when it wasn't your sisters or brother, and it was somebody else's sisters and brother, you didn't say why it was their sister and brother. Funny how when it only happened to us, it's why us. But when it happened to somebody else, we never say why them. But what the Most High showed me that when it all said and done, everybody's gonna get judged on Judgment Day for what they done. But if you believe it or not, it's like gravity. You ain't gotta believe it. But once you jump, it is what it is. On Judgment Day, we're gonna have to answer for everything. That's when the bad guys gonna have to answer for what they did. And guess what? The people that was good and got their life taken out by the bad person, because they lived their life for the Most High. Boy, it says that eyes had not seen, ears had not heard, no has entered into the hearts of men of the goodness that the Most High Yah got prepared for the righteous. So we win anyway. The people that live a righteous life win anyway. This life is just temporary. Nobody is going to live forever on this life anyway. So you live your life for the Most High because you never know what's going to happen and when you going to die. So you can always be prepared for when you do die. you can get your reward because, like I said, nobody's going to be here forever. Nobody's living in this earth forever. We all going to pass. So why do bad things happen to good people? Because people obey the Most High, because people do bad things, and they look for the most easiest people or targets they can. And guess what? Good people die also, even at a young age. Them dying don't mean they done something wrong. It just means it was their time to go. And the person that killed them is going to be judged by it. Whatever we done, we going to be judged however it happened. When it's all said and done, it's all going to be settled. So nobody get away with nothing. So that righteous man that died in his righteousness, that's not a sad thing. That's a good thing to be able to die in righteousness. I'd rather die in my righteousness than to prolong my life in my wickedness. See, that's the thing. We so caught up in this life like it ain't going to end. And like that's not a judgment. And like we ain't going to get paid for what we do. But a lot of people get angry at the Most High and blame the Most High because people disobey the Most High and cause pain and hurt on their life. You should be mad at the people for not obeying the Most High. But the Most High is so, in his great wisdom, he'll allow for people to be able to relate to you in your hurt. He's not going to have you to be the only person that got raped. He's not going to have you to be the only gun victim, only robber victim, because there's so much wicked in this world. People experience that all over. So you're going to have people that's going to be able to relate with you. They're going to sympathize with you. And you can turn that around and say, if you wise, and say, look, when you live a bad life and do bad to people, this is the harm you call on people. That rape victim can testify the harm that's caused on her by somebody disobeying the Most High. That family can be a witness of the hurt that they experience for losing their loved one because somebody disobeyed the Most High and killed somebody for no reason. So when you see their tears, so when you hear them cry and testify about how they lost their loved ones to a senseless murder, what you hearing is a person saying the Most High ways are righteous and right. And when people break those ways and disobey the Most High, this is the type of hurt, misery, and pains it cause. But don't be mad at the Most High when bad things happen to good people. Be mad at those people that don't live a righteous life. And most of all, make sure you live in a righteous life so you won't be one of those bad people doing something to a so-called good person. And if you ever, whenever you lose your life, whether if you're in a car accident, whether if you have a heart attack, whether if you slip and bump your head, because you live a life believing in the Father and his Son and being righteous, that you will have your reward waiting on the end. Till next time, Shalom.
Burn your idols.
He who the sun sets free is free. He who the sun sets free is free.
Hallelujah.
He who the sun sets free is free. He who the sun sets free is free.
These are the times when I feel like you are not around. The moment I throw out many questions and not a sound. I look up and I don't see no blessing hit the ground. However, like Peter, you saved me right before I drowned. years I've known there to be snakes in this place. I see the disbelief under carefully crafted speech. There's a breach, disconnecting from the heresy of Catholic priests. Pagan ideologies the Pharisees do love to teach. Lord, I got my times I wish you would've did things different. Found out those times that I ain't have no business wishing.